What's up, everyone? So E3 is now over and there were a ton of great games shown off, so I thought that I would count down the 10 that got me most excited. As is the case with every E3, these games could end up being very different from what the developers are promising. Whether or not they live up to the hype, these are the 10 games that I cannot wait to try out for myself. Number 10. Super Mario Party. It's been a long time since I was excited about a Mario Party game. I skipped the apparently terrible Wii U entry, but the newest one looks to be a return to form. The latest addition to the friendship-destroying franchise will be going back to the standard board game layout, but will offer more strategic gameplay. While new items will be introduced to screw over your opponents, each character also has their own unique dice block in addition to the normal one. Online play will be available, but it will only be for rounds of 5 randomly selected minigames, of which there are 80. And I know this isn't exactly important for a game like this, but Super Mario Party looks just as bright and colorful as Super Mario Odyssey, and that just makes me happy. Number 9. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. While part of me is a little worried that this just looks like more of the same, the other part of me has to admit, the same is what I love about this series. I've been a huge fan of Square Enix's rebooted Tomb Raider, and I'm interested to see how they change up Lara Croft as a character. As this will be the end of Lara's origin story, the new game will focus on a much more confident and stronger character. But this will come with its own downsides, as Lara will accidentally kick off a Mayan apocalypse and must figure out how to stop it, all while dealing with the evil organization Trinity and a harsh and unforgiving jungle. Square is also promising a heavier focus on side quests in the form of tombs and actually finding treasure, an aspect that I happily welcome. Number 8. Fallout 76. Bethesda's next step into their massive nuclear dystopian franchise will be a prequel and promise a much larger world than any previous game, which is saying a lot. Not only that, but it'll feel like an actual living world due to the fact that there are no NPCs. The game will be fully online, so any person you run into will be another player. You can play by yourself or team up with friends to accomplish goals and fight monsters, some of which are based on real West Virginian folklore, which is where the game takes place. It's hard to say whether or not making it online will be the right step, but the ability of fully customizing your character and any structure you build sounds like it will offer vastly different experiences from player to player. Plus, all of your progress will be saved, so you won't lose it if someone decides to destroy something you've built while you're not playing. Number 7. Anthem. Now that Mass Effect is ended, BioWare's next project has some pretty big shoes to fill. Their next action RPG will focus on a world where humans live inside one massive city surrounded by walls that protect them from the dangers outside. Players will take control of a freelancer, someone who explores the outside world for resources. Freelancers operate mech suits called Javelins that come in 4 customizable classes: Ranger, Colossus, Interceptor, and Storm. The exact plot and how your character fits into it is a little unclear right now, but BioWare has stated they plan to support the game for a long time after release. Hopefully there will be enough content when the game launches so we don't end up with another situation like Destiny, or God forbid, No Man's Sky. But the gameplay that has been shown off and the fact that you can play by yourself or on a team with up to 3 friends all seems incredibly enticing. Number 6. Cyberpunk 2077. Fans of The Witcher 3 have been waiting a while to see more of CD Projekt Red's new game, and we finally got a better idea of what it is at this year's E3. The RPG FPS hybrid is set in the dystopian Night City where most citizens, if not all of them, have some kind of cybernetic enhancements. Players will take control of the mercenary V, who is highly customizable through everything from gender to class. While we only got a cinematic trailer during Microsoft's conference, press were shown a behind-closed-doors demo, and everything they have said about it sounds awesome. The class system will be fluid so you can combine different skill sets and use your XP towards whatever attributes you want, and each class, along with whichever weapons you're using, will offer a variety of perks. Who knows when we'll actually be able to play this game, but for now I cannot wait to see more. Number 5. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Assassin's Creed is a franchise I never really got into, so it says a lot about the promise that this entry shows that I put it in the top 5. Odyssey will take us to ancient Greece, an era that I've always found really interesting. You can choose from a male or female protagonist, but the story focuses on a mercenary who is a descendant of Leonidas during the war between the Spartans and the Athenians. Ubisoft is promising a heavier focus on RPG elements, which is always an immersive plus. How you choose to act in certain situations will impact how your story plays out, as you can choose from different dialogue options and even lie to characters you're talking to. The choice of the player is the central aspect, whether it be your weapons, armor, or abilities. The combat also looks like a ton of fun in one-on-one fights and in larger conquest battles. There will also be 8 different areas to explore, each with their own style and set of quests. All in all, it seems that this franchise is learning from the best games of the action RPG genre. Number 4, Ghost of Tsushima. Sucker Punch has come a long way from their Sly Cooper days. Their latest game will be a single-player action-adventure set in an open world, and while a lot of the games on PS4 are taking this route, Ghost of Tsushima looks to be offering something a bit special, especially for anyone who is a history buff. It takes place in 1274 at the very beginning of the Mongol invasions of Japan. Historical spoiler alert, while the Japanese were eventually victorious over the Mongolian invaders, that didn't come until many years later. The invasion of Tsushima Island was the first invasion of the war, and the Mongolians absolutely decimated the locals. Players will take control of Jin Sakai, the last samurai on the island during this horrific time. Sucker Punch consulted historical experts to really nail the fantasy of becoming a samurai and the time period that it's set in. Also, while the game was shown off in English, you'll be able to switch to Japanese dialogue with subtitles, which is just a really nice touch. Number 3, SpiderMan. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a pretty big superhero fan, so of course I'm pumped to play a new Spider-Man game. It's being developed by Insomniac, the minds behind the original Spyro the Dragon trilogy and the more recent, and underrated, Sunset Overdrive. It'll focus on a Peter Parker we haven't gotten much of a chance to see in the movies, as when the game picks up, he's been Spidey for about 8 years. The story looks like it'll be honoring the legacy of the hero, as it will feature classic villains and popular supporting characters like Miles Morales. But the thing that has me the most excited to play this game is hands down the gameplay. Spider-Man's movement looks incredibly smooth and fluid as he acrobatically swings from building to building. The same can be said of the combat, as it looks similar to the Arkham games, just with Peter's spider sense and some aerial fighting as well. Add in different suits with customizable gadgets, and this game looks like a hell of a lot of fun. Number 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Every character ever. That's the biggest draw of the newest entry in Nintendo's massively popular brawler. There's a lot of fighters I'm excited to see return, like Ice Climbers and Snake, but I also can't wait to try out the new additions of Ridley and the Inklings. Ultimate is the best subtitle for this game, as it seems director Masahiro Sakurai has fine-tuned every aspect of the combat, from bringing back directorial air dodging to changing movesets of certain characters to make them more balanced. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get any more new characters, since the roster is already set over 65, but I would love to get some new stages or maybe some cosmetic DLC. Smash has been a part of my gaming experience since the 64 days, and I have loved each and every one of them. Being able to play this on the go is a huge bonus. I can only hope that Nintendo can finally get the online right. Number 1, The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us has, hands down, one of the best stories I've ever seen in a video game, and that fantastic story is only made stronger by the equally amazing characterization and voice acting. So naturally, the sequel was one of the games I was looking forward to seeing the most during Sony's press conference, and developer Naughty Dog did not disappoint. The love I and many others have for Ellie will carry over to the sequel, as we'll be playing as her this time instead of Joel. Part 2 will see them as part of a community, a change of pace from the original, which mostly had them on their own. And the relationship between Ellie and new character Dina is something I can't wait to see more of. It's not clear how much the undead enemies will have changed between games, but the demo showed off how smart and dangerous human enemies can be. It looks like they'll be much harder to avoid, a fact that puts the AI shown in Shadow of the Tomb Raider to shame. Honestly, the ways in which Ellie will have changed in the gap between games, and the undoubtedly tragic events that will befall her in this title, have me clamoring for more. So those are the 10 games that I am most excited for from this year's E3. I obviously had to leave out a lot of really great looking games, but these are the ones that I have the highest hopes for. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all very soon.